We are at the house farm. We got the old John Deere and we're doing some Redneck Labor Day weekend food plots. The moral of this, guys, the point of this video here is to show you that there's so many different things that you can do these food plots with. I was out doing some chores this weekend and I just this is actually it's a set aside horse pasture that I got behind me here, but it works perfect with having our brassicas across the channel here. The pond, we got one pond here, the channel goes through, and my brassicas are right over there on the other side of the screen, and it all ties into our bedding area and all the improvements that we've done to it this year. But this deal here is I started by fertilizing, and then I put rye down, and then I crimped it with a truck. I rolled it down with the tires of the truck, and then the stuff that didn't crimp, I hit it with a weed whipper. And it just hasn't been anything done in this pasture, just a bunch of pasture mix, which is kind of cool because it's got wild alfalfa growing in it now, and it's got the goldenrod obviously, but a lot of it crimped down. But then I just went ahead and mowed it. It's like I said, it hasn't had anything done to it in a while, and I'm not going to till it up. Because my theory is I'm putting rye on it, and so I've got rye on one side of the channel and my brassicas on the other side, and then we hunt the ends of them, obviously not on the plots, but we hunt the end. And I just actually took the blind that I took down off the food plot that you guys remember went behind the barn. It sits actually right behind the barn and looks across the end of the pond into that whole transition area. So just a whole bunch of stuff that changing here on the farm. But this is just one of those Labor Day weekend. Don't ever settle for not having something done for as far as the food plot. This here, I always stress is don't just plant them just because it's out in the middle of a field. But when it gets to this point, guys, and just like this here, I've got my brassicas already done, and that's the test plot. This whole farm is a testing deal, if you will. So what I've got here is we just had the old pasture. It runs perfect. We can hunt both ends of it just to try to give the deer a little more something to chew on and some diversity. And if the brassicas aren't what they're wanting to get, so what I did here, or wanting to eat. So what I did here is I fertilized, then I seeded with the so I put about 100 pounds or about 125 pounds actually of rye on this, and then I fertilized it, put the seed on it, packed it in with the truck. Pretty much doing that to use as a color packer, but I knew it would crimp some of this stuff down too. And the stuff that didn't die, hit it with a weed whip, or the stuff that didn't crimp, I hit it with a weed whip. And then after seeing it, I just decided to clean it up. There's a bunch of little willows and everything else that are starting to creep into the plot here, so I just mowed it, and I'm just going to continue to plant now. I'll put rye on it again. The whole process here, guys, is, if nothing else, just give some diversity. The rest of the plot, obviously, the rest of the pasture is obviously going to lay down in the winter. But this is just trying to put just everything I can get on here as far as food, and maybe it'll help get the kids something shot during the youth season, and just a way to kind of fill in holes and not, like we've talked, don't take no for an answer when it comes to failed food plots. And this is just one of those ways you can do it. Weed Whip, old John Deere gear shift mower, and a pickup. I don't know what more redneck you could get about this, but that's okay, because that's what I am, I guess. So it's one of those deals that's there's all kinds of ways. Like we said, if you got big fancy tractors, that's fine. I've had them in the past, I run them now, and it's just what we have. So just a couple of things here. Not don't get discouraged, don't take no for an answer. Use stuff like this, just know why you're planting it, how you're going to hunt it, not on it. And utilize some stuff here, guys, to get some, especially if you got these small properties and old horse farms that you built, whatever the case is. Biggest deer I ever killed in the state of Illinois was out of an old abandoned horse shelter. So it can be done. You just got to get creative. And we're in the on Labor Day weekend here, and the weather's beautiful, and we might as well be out doing something, right? So recap on this is all pasture mix. So I just took the end of it, or the side of it, along the edge of the pasture, along the fence in the pines here, and went out about 10 yards, and it's about 75 yards long. So whatever that equates to, and I put, you know, I'm not interested in exactly the square footage or the acreage right now. I just put 100 pounds of rye on it. I'll come back in and I'll put some more rye on it. One tip here that I did want to touch on, guys, is when you're mowing these, you know, all this thatch here that you see, the stuff that I didn't crimp down, you know, when you're mowing, you know, we all like to get this off our lawns, but when you're mowing a food plot like that, especially if it's going to be a rye situation, take all this thatch and use it as mulch. You know, as you can see, this has got all that layer that I crimped down first underneath it. But yeah, you know, leave that on it. Don't blow it out to the edge of the plot. As you can see, I don't have very little along the edge here. It's all in the plot, and that's just that natural decaying fertilizer that goes down. Like I said, I would highly recommend doing the way I did it. I would fertilize, seed, then I would smash it down with a truck, or anything, you know, wider wheels are better if you had a tractor or something, but smash it down, and then if you have to, mow it. If it doesn't all crimp down, then, you know, mow it or run the lawnmower over it or whatever. But all kinds of ways to, we're planting rye. You know, we're not worried about a beautiful brassica plot right now. We're beyond that. We're past that in this area. Now, if you're down south watching this, then obviously you can get away with, you know, still putting those brassicas in the ground. But the contour, or the condensation and all of the precipitation that we get this time of the year, these things just like this. If nothing else, this will just be green, and they'll come down here and just eat the, you know, the green vegetation. But we're going to pound the rye here to it, and it's going to be the rye or the grain part of our food plot this year. Like I said, I didn't do anything with it earlier because obviously we've got the house for sale, the property for sale, and you know, I planned on it being horse pasture for somebody. But while we're here, it's going to be a food plot. So brassicas over the pond here, over the channel, connected into our transition area up into the bedding, blind behind the barn as a bow blind, because they do use this side of the pond. We got the octagon up on the hill now, transition area, brassicas. Now we've got the rye. So all with hand tools and a gear shift John Deere lawnmower. So Redneck, Labor Day, food plots. Thanks, guys.